dog sight. Tell me I've been in that living room all white. I'm up all night, season ends while niggas sleeping. Lost so many guys, guess why I'm breathing. We keep it strong as the name live on, like if they was never gone. Mind blown, and even my never seen.
Welcome back to the Grit Culture. Please hit that like button and subscribe. So, man, let's talk about it, man. Raven-Symone, she talks about how, on her show, her show That's So Raven, probably about, I guess it's been a couple decades now, probably about 15 years or so. It was a hit, very famous show on the Disney Channel. All the children loved it. And they brought it back. They brought it back kind of like a sequel show, kind of like they did with the Connors, the Roseanne, and other little shows. I think they did it with Full House too. And it's called Raven-Symone. It was her older. She with her friends, I guess she had a divorce or whatnot, wasn't with the father, so she it's taking on single motherhood, but it's presented a new dynamic to her life, right? But Raven-Symone talks about how she was offered to play a lesbian. They wanted to retcon the Raven character. Because, keep in mind, these are two different characters, even though it's based off her, same name or whatnot, it's still a TV character. They wanted to retcon the character who would always like boys and everything as younger, wanted to retcon her as a lesbian. And Raven-Symone rejected it. She didn't want no parts of it. She wanted to keep, she had her idea of how she wanted the character to be, and she stayed true to it. Now, that's not to say that there can't be a change from, younger to older, that they could have a change and she could all of a sudden decide she likes girls, but, we all know that that's the agenda that they want to push throughout Hollywood, despite what anybody says. They're making a push. Yeah, you want to have that, you want to have that representation and all of that stuff. Like I said, it's not my type of lifestyle, but if a person wants to have representation, they want to have, want to see people that represent their type of life and see it more in the mainstream type of media. There's nothing wrong with it, but when it's being force-fed and then you're doing it to already established characters, like they're doing with Robin, like they're doing with many Marvel characters. Hell, I think they tried to say Wolverine was. So it's been a whole bunch of guys, man. So much bullshit, man. I forget, man. I forget. It's hard to keep up, but they've done it with so many different characters, man. And it goes both ways when you're talking about, characters that are established and adding BS to them, like that Batman movie where they had him kissing Batgirl. They had him making out with her on the floor. That's bullshit. Nobody wants to see that. Stay true to the character. Batgirl's always been like a younger sister. He's always been a mentor to her. That was just weird. But the dude, yeah, like I said, the industry, these different industries, these mainstream industries, they're being incentivized to do these type of things, and then and it's not from the viewer. They're not from the viewer. I talked about how different funding comes from other organizations. A lot of times it comes from taxpayer money, so they can afford to waste money and put out bullshit. It's not so much about the sales anymore, but because it shows. It shows in a lot of the stuff they do. A lot of the people are turning away from this. They're not having the same type of numbers like they used to have. But, they're not creating anything original. Nobody has a problem with a homosexual character. Hell, you just had Michael K. Williams who passed. Everybody loved the character of Omar, right? There's been, gay characters who have been throughout Marvel universe who originally like that. Nobody has a problem with that. I think one of the New Mutants or somebody was gay, but nobody has a problem with that. But it's when you establish and you're basically tokenizing. It's the same with gay or turning them a new race, like making it black or whatever you want to do. So it's not so bad. It's sometimes, yeah, you do have little one-offs where you change stuff up, but we all know for the most part they're doing it just to meet a quota. They're not staying true to the material, and they're just doing a bunch of woke social justice type of stuff in these movies. So there's a fine line. It's a fine line in between. It's a lot of nuance that has to be understood when discussing this. But you gotta take your hats off to Raven-Symone for, not buying into all of that and staying true to how she saw the character. Despite her being lesbian, in her personal life, she didn't want to project that into the screen. It's just unnecessary. But it just shows you how Hollywood works, man. Disney especially. Disney is always been one of the largest propaganda machines. Just look into, Walt Disney himself. We're gonna Walt Disney himself, man. So man, shout out to Raven-Symone, man. Hopefully, man, some more people, man, can hopefully some more people can have I don't know. It's not the same thing because with most times, with certain characters like say it's Batman, say they wanted to change, well they could just change actors, right? For Raven, you can't change Raven. It's got to be Raven-Symone. So that's what makes it kind of easier for her to deny that, to stay true. Like I said, I'm not watching the show, but for people who grew up fans of the show and different things like that, it's gonna be hard. You can't change who Raven is. She is. She's the character off screen and on the show. So, man, that's all I got, man. Man, these guys need to just start coming up with their own characters. We don't need to see gay Batman, gay Robins, and all of this stuff. And I'm talking about just in everything in general. We don't need to see all these crazy retcons. Just come up with something original. But that's the problem that we see in just a lot of entertainment. There's no originality, no creativity, terrible writing, and they're just serving it up, because you got a newer generation that's not used to good writing and just outstanding storytelling and character development. Also variety of characters. So, you dumb everything down, that becomes the norm over time, man. So that's what it's been. You've seen that through in the movie industry, man, all type of stuff, man. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I will holler at y'all later. Peace.